Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my fellow Geminis. I feel like it hasn't been that long since we've done a reading, but I'm doing August, so this is going to be your August 2025 reading, and I am doing opposite signs again, with Sagittarius being your opposite. I just got done with it. So I'm using the same decks, though they are really shuffled. I spend quite a bit of time just shuffling. That's my time to just kind of meditate, honestly. Um, this is going to be for Gemini Sun, my fellow Gemini Moons, Gemini Rising. Definitely those intuitively guided. And some of you may be in love with the Gemini platonically or romantically. I think the ticket is just being open. Whatever brought you, chances are there's a message here. Because if you trusted your intuition and then you clicked, there's a message here for you. Um, so, real quick, I want to talk about something that I just talked about in our last reading, but maybe not everybody caught it. But I think it's important that, especially Gemini knows this is going to affect every sign differently. But so we have Uranus, who has made the transit into the sign of Gemini and will spend approximately the next 8 years in the sign of Gemini, which could be a whirlwind of change. Uranus absolutely loathes the status quo, the traditional, and the mundane. Boring. That's what it would say. Boring. Um, Uranus governs the future and is always looking towards the next big thing. This is another reason why I wanted to bring this information back out. And you know what's interesting, Gemini? Normally, like if I write down like message I'm receiving before reading, I usually rip it up or crumble it up and let it go and let it be. That could be the Virgo in me, like I don't like clutter. But I didn't throw this away. So I was surprised, but now I know why. So, anyways, it also rules our hopes and dreams and believes anything is possible if we're willing to experiment. And that's the word I'm getting, experiment. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, who knows what the experiment will be about? Um, this is definitely a time where you don't want to resist the changes that it wants to bring you. This could propel you down a path that leads to all your hopes and dreams. And then I literally wrote down here, reach for the gold. Like, don't think anything is limited. Even if it feels that way. I just haven't found the solution yet, right? The answer's there. I just have to keep searching. So, I feel like it's going to be a very good thing. Now, I do want to remind you that Mercury is going into retrograde, and Mercury being a ruling planet. I'm a Virgo Sun, Gemini Moon, so I'm doubly ruled by Mercury. Let's just say I have a lot of Mercury in me. Probably why I talk for a living. Who knows? I just thought of that. Like what do you call those aha moments? So anyway, I forget what I was talking about. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and get into your reading. I'm gonna bring the lid down a little bit. Not a lot, but enough. And I don't know if I told you, but we will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We're going to use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. And by the way, it was Christina, one of our subscribers, that was just reminded of this, of the crystal vision, how much she loved it. And I remember that I had it, but I haven't used it in such a long time. So I dug it out so um, Christina could experience it again. But now I'm finding that I also love them to clarify. I think they could tell their own story, no doubt. They could be like the lead spread. But yeah, so the reason why I'm telling you that is your comments really matter to me and I pay attention to them. So I'm always open for advice, growth. So we will use the major arcanas for our bullet points. Again, the psychic tarot for the main spread. And let's go ahead and see what Mother Mary wants to tell us. Mother Mary, sign of Gemini and those guided. I want to say for August, but, and lately this is what I've been thinking about, like, spiritual form. You're not looking at a clock. Do you know what I mean? It's fluid. That's why I always say a reading may reach you, it could be years old. And maybe you don't know that going in and you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, the whole thing not only resonated, because yes, that's great when a reading resonates, but it helps to propel you. That may be your word this month, propel. I mean, if one of my readings could do that for you, then my job is done. Or let me put it a different way, then I know there's real worth. Joy. Joy to the world. Joy. Beautiful. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. It's interesting. I feel like I have to say, when it says this moment, it really means this moment because there could be a million things going on or a million things going wrong and one thing going right. That's what I want to focus on, at least for a moment. This reminds me of the Three of Cups, which often means there's going to be a reason to celebrate. But by enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. And, I feel like recognition comes back. Not that that's why I do it. All right, let's bring in major arcanas. And I love that we have joyful energy already on the table. All right. Hmm. All right, interesting. We have the death card. Tell you why I think it's interesting. So, number one card is Scorpio. Though I don't really read these as signs, but you can. um, it means some type of transformation. That may be why I just read about Uranus moving into Gemini. Something coming to completion. But that usually means something new is, well, it doesn't usually mean, it does mean something new is on its way. The Hangman. I feel like for some of you, it's some resistance. Maybe some resistance to closing of a chapter, but it's your free will at the same time, because then we have judgment, which is our spiritual team. And they come with a message that can only be heard in the present moment. Interesting because now when I'm looking or thinking of Mother Mary's message by enjoying this moment. It's almost like there is this moment where some type of guidance is sent to you. You know, the hangman's looking right at judgment, and judgment's looking right back. The hangman is seeking wisdom, spiritual wisdom, but to use on this earthly plane. The hangman has put the hangman in that pose. And it may be some resistance. But I feel like in a way, judgment is trying, maybe this reading is going to like, it feels like a story for some reason. So when my hands are going like that, it's like a melody of, well, maybe the future, but the near future. All right, I think I'm going to let those be. Now, when judgment is mirroring the death card, where one is calling you to the present moment and one is the past, and it is about the closing of a door, but it is so you can have like some type of transformation. You know, you should never fear the death card, especially with judgment right there, like right there. And you know, that really is the case. It's not an illusion that you have a spiritual team. You have a spiritual team. You have spirit guides. You have angels. They were all signed to you before you even came into this lifetime. And they know what they're doing. But we have free will. You know, we have to remember that we're spiritual beings having human experiences. Interesting, there's that word. Experiment. Experiences. It's like everything is getting tied together. All right, let's give them a cut. Whoa. Like someone. I'm wondering if someone, like if your energy just jumped for some reason. It just didn't feel like it belonged here. The way that, just the way the cards were. So I don't know. Okay. Make sure the cards in the upright, they are. See what the hangman is, what wisdom the hangman is seeking. Interesting. The Seven of Swords could be whether someone is trustworthy. You know, I think a better way of asking this question is, do they deserve me? Do they deserve me? Especially as you're evolving. You know, and I know many of you, if not all of you. So, you know, they call this deception and envy. That's Seven of Swords. Some call it the thief in the night. I call it the little liar. Some of you, that's what you're questioning. I don't know so much that you're questioning, like, is this person, let's just say, long term ability? Or is this more of a now, you know, or what was? I feel like the answer is pretty clear. But of course, you've got to be on board with that. Because I feel like the death card is like, yes, that door does need closed. You know, maybe it's robbing you of your joy. You know, whether it's an energy or a person. Judgment seems to be calling you this way, and this person's looking this way. as is the person in the death card, both looking back. All right. It's a bummer, but unfortunately, that is real life. Hmm. We have the Five of Cups. I feel like what I might be telling myself is, well, I'm going to miss them. They might be my soulmate. Could be. But I feel like judgment is like, mm-mm, mm-mm, nope. Maybe that's why I rephrased the question. Is this person worthy of me? Judgment would be like, mm-mm, mm-mm, nope. But you have to make that decision. The Five of Cups, it's a five. So fives are always looking for change. Death card right above it is looking for change. In the Five of Cups is interesting because I do feel like some may be like, and the kind of person I'm talking about, because I can feel the energy. I'm not always feeling the Seven of Swords as like horrible people. um, but I do feel like they're robbing you of your joy. And, there you are tied up, right? Loosely bound, but kind of holding yourself in place. So, in a way, that's giving someone else the power of your life over your life. Do they deserve it? The interesting thing in the Five of Cups is there is two cups behind this person. And I know it connects the seven, right? The Seven of Swords with the Five of Cups, but I really don't think it does. I think the Death card is like a door that comes in between. All right, let's keep going. We have beautiful Four of Swords. Number one, I feel like if I'm dealing with energy like that, then this is telling you that you will heal. You will overcome. And all you have to do is look back at your own history. Because, I can look back at mine and think of relationships that when they came to an end, I was like, oh my God, my life is over. Right? And then you meet someone new, you know, till you finally meet maybe the right one. Maybe all along you're learning. But this is definitely saying that you're going to heal. All right. Look at that. Justice. Called balance in this deck. And I feel like the reason why it's saying balance is the Seven of Swords has to be like thrown off your energy. And then we have interesting the Two of Cups. But again, it's like we have a line in the sand before. Like what I think may be a soulmate and the Seven of Swords, the Death card feels like puts down, closes that door. Almost like nope. And Judgment, I feel like is backing me up on that. And then Justice is about using that sort of justice. It's about cutting ties. First of all, cut your own ties, right? Free yourself. And the rest will follow. But to me, it feels like another kind of line in the sand before soulmates, soulmate union. Bring it down a little bit more. Now, this person could certainly be a karmic soulmate sitting so close to justice, but that means there was something to learn. So, what did you learn? What did you learn? And it's interesting because, like, I feel like your guides are allowing me to feel this other person's energy. And I feel like if I was in your shoes, and I've been there multiple times, um, so funny. I'm thinking back to like when I was married at 19. I mean, come on. And how the person I married, like how they presented themselves before we got married and when he proposed. And then how it became so quickly, how it went downhill so quickly. Now, I can blame him, and partly I do. I can blame myself, and I do, but I've forgiven myself. Why am I saying that? Well, because, you know, the person was treating me terribly, yet that is what I would think about. But if I leave, will I miss them? And who will they? Will they find someone else? You know what I mean? And it's funny because now I'm thinking how other people can make you feel a certain way when your, let's say, spiritual side would not take this, just would not. And I think that's why I keep saying, like, are they deserving of you? All right, let's keep going. The beautiful part is you have healing energy right in the middle of your reading right now. Here it's called rest and rejuvenation. This person's out in nature. You're just being very open. Sitting by trees. I feel like that's just ancient wisdom. Can be your guides. That might be that moment. Again, even if there's chaos, like going out and taking a walk and being by yourself, you might receive some real epiphanies. Well, hello, lovers. Okay, but it's not their time yet. We have the Emperor, card of Aries. Under the Four of Swords. Look at this. We have the Lovers. First of all, it is your major arcana. The meaning of the card is ahead of a hard decision, and I definitely feel for some of you, that's exactly what you're doing. You're trying to make a head of a hard decision, but I feel like you're not trusting it. Like, I feel like you receive the answer, but then you don't trust it. We can't make someone love us better. We can't. But the person that we ultimately have true love with just loves us in all ways, doesn't give us reason to doubt, doesn't want us to have to doubt, doesn't keep us guessing. Do you like me? Do you not? I tell you, I love you. course I love you. I mean it. This is the difference. This is the difference of love that I feel like I'm talking about. Interesting. 6 of Cups. 66 back to back. Memories of love. Interesting because here you are, so to speak, out in nature, but you're in this quiet moment. And I feel like for some of you, your mind may go back to like a time. 6 of Cups is about nostalgia. Here, it's called Memories of Love. Look at the energy you're in. And even the 2 6s came out together. The lovers here is called harmony. Well, read the words just up here: deception, envy, emotional loss. I feel the difference. Okay. So, it's going to say, some of you are thinking back. And listen, it doesn't always mean I'm thinking back to go back. Maybe I'm remembering someone who did love me, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Whether I'm going back to that or I'm just remembering that, it's helping you to remember your worth. That's what I feel. Because not only do I feel like someone is robbing you of joy, but of self-worth. But I feel like once you make a decision, then you make that decision. We have the Emperor down here under the 7 of Swords. And this Emperor, card of Aries, by the way, is, someone we can look up to. This is someone, well, with authority, evidently. The ring around him makes me feel like enlightenment. And it's interesting because I feel like the person in the 7 of Swords, whether they know, so I don't feel like the Emperor is the same person. And I feel like it's a great representation of what I've been talking about. Because again, the Emperor is someone that we can look up to. Like the Empress with her motherly energy, the Emperor carries fatherly energy. Anyway, let's keep going. Well, look who just made his way out, the Empress. And of course, in your reading, and I'm realizing it's coming under number 11. Some of you, this could be a twin flame. But I kind of want you not to worry about that. Don't search for a twin flame. If twin flame is going to be in your life, it's going to be in your life. Because I don't want you to think that this person is. Anyway, let's keep going. Well, hello, Ace of Swords. Triumphant success, it's called here. The Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords connects not only the Emperor and the Empress to the Ace of Swords, but also the soulmates. And then we have interesting obstacles and challenges. And I'm going to put that right here. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. Recognition and reward. Beautiful. Look at that. The Three of Swords underneath it. Already getting lost. Excuse me, I'm grabbing a drink. All right. Wow. I'm wondering if I definitely know that Lovers is the Emperor and the Empress, no doubt. They are my power couple. My spiritual team knows that. And, they give me what I understand. And, like there's certain cards um that they know. Well, I really feel like it's them who have me thinking of it or looking at it this way. But I do look at them as my power couple in the upright, but connected by also the Lovers. But look, spiritual union. Something may be coming in the way. Something may be coming in the way. And again, it's like while you are in this quiet moment, your mind, your thoughts go back. Go back. You may be asking yourself, is it okay? And I think you already know Judgment's answer. Number one, Judgment would be like, well, you have to make that decision, but I'll guide you. You have to close that door. But it is a representation of a chapter ending, and will I allow it? And even if someone else doesn't want you to allow it, you have the sword, and you have the sword of justice. So I feel like any obstacles, first of all, the Emperor and the Empress will find a way. And I feel like that's just that. Like, what beauty connects them? Beautiful, positive energy versus, yeah. All right. Let's bring in it's funny. I have a window open. I'm in the Northeast and it's been hot. It's been hot everywhere. But it's definitely cold down today, and we're going into a cold front, which I'm so happy. But I opened my window, and it feels good. But I am noticing none of the candle lights are moving. Those are real candles. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Maybe I just had to ask. Um, I hear gunshots. Of course, could be something else, but all right. Hmm. Interesting. Ace of Cups came out in reverse, but look what is coming over. The Seven of Swords. You're not staying for the love. You may have just become comfortable in the uncomfortableness. But look at this. It's talking about love that is drained. And then we have the Nine of Wands. which really I feel is the perfect energy right now. This is about you reflecting back, maybe in this situation, but this is about your spiritual growth. This may have been a karmic soulmate, and part of the lesson may have been like knowing when to go, but it may be teaching you how to honor yourself within that. And again, it's within your own time. So anyway, Nine of Wands is what I call my spirit warrior, because this is someone who looks back, but with the sense of how have I grown? What did I learn? What have I overcome? It's a sense of being proud of oneself. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Only matters what you think about you. So it's a powerful energy. And it's a very truthful energy. And this is where these spiritual muscles come from. You being truthful with yourself. And nines often read as singular. This person's looking right over at the Ace of Cups in reverse. I mean, I am certainly not trying to talk you into doing anything you don't want to do. But boy, do I feel like it's telling us a story. Let's just say the what if. What if I did free myself? What if? Well, how about the Knight of Cups? That's a pretty good what if. This is an unexpected cup of fulfillment. Can I just tell you, for those who maybe have had someone on their mind, maybe it's someone, well, it'd definitely be someone back in the day, whether it be romantically or not, they may reach out, but yet at the same time, I feel like it may not hurt you to reach out either. Because I feel like the Nine of Wands is giving you a whole new type of strength. And then comes the Knight of Cups. Well, it's connected to healing. And no wonder I said, I feel the time will come where maybe I didn't even say it. But I do feel the time will come when what's happening or, what you've been dealing with in the Seven of Swords energy. Like, I don't feel like that energy lives long past its ending date. Because this Knight of Cups is like, boom, here I am. But it's interesting because I feel like it could be your thoughts manifesting. And they may just be picking up on it. And it may be going both ways. It's interesting, but I feel like for some of you, for someone, when they think of you as someone who's pretty bold, kind of goes to the beat of your own drum, but they like that about you. They like your, I want to use the word boldness, but I don't know if boldness is the right word, but I think you understand. Versus, I feel like where someone else, where there is no love, the love is drained, it's become nothing but obstacles and challenges. I feel like they would tell you the opposite. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Oh my God. Okay, well, we have the marriage card. I shouldn't have gotten excited so quickly, but maybe. I feel like this is the potential of ending one, but I do feel like the beginning of another. And I'm kind of amazed how fast it's happening. And I have a feeling this Ace of Swords is what connects, let's just say, the lovers together. Look at this. Look at this person. By the way, this is why Christina loved this deck. She loved this image. This person's putting you on a pedestal, on a white horse. This person's doing the opposite. They're taking joy from you. It's like they're robbing you of your life. This person giving life. This is true commitment. And let's just face it, just like I told you about my marriage, you know, someone can promise you the world, very quickly deliver none. Took me 8 years, if anybody's wondering, but I did have kids. But hmm, Empress right below that. You know, now I feel like there's different people here because I feel like for some of you, this may be someone you start a family with. This may be someone you start a family with. But I don't feel like that's everyone. And I'm just amazed how quickly it happens. But it's happening. And this is what judgment is trying to get our attention towards. It's almost like judgment is saying, you can't have both. They won't go together. You know, this feels pure. Why put this blackness on top of it? Why put darkness on top of light? So it's probably cutting of one ties, but the promise of another. And even on the bottom of the deck is, which is interesting because it's usually energy that has already been recognition and reward. Again, I feel like it's a difference of how someone looks at you, how someone honors you, loves you, and how someone is all about themselves. Me, 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 me. Well, you can have you. You can have you. You know, and again, I feel like it's a moment of boldness where I speak my piece. And it's interesting because I feel like everything's happening in these moments, but these moments seem to trigger the next, which really ultimately feels life changing. Eight of Cups, bye bye, bye bye, you're out of there. Couldn't be happier to see the Eight of Cups. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Eight of Cups is emotional clarity. I know you found that through the Nine of Wands. I just know it. This person's heading towards, and this person literally is heading away from the Eight of Cups towards the Nine of Cups in harmony. Fulfillment of wishes. For some of you, wishes you didn't even know you had. But I have a feeling your soul knew. 8, a new beginning. Right over spiritual union. Look at that, 5 of Cups. Interesting though, because when I put this 5 down, if you notice, she's looking this direction, and what's connecting the Emperor to her is behind her, which normally is 2 cups. It's not showing it here. Well, it is showing it up, up in the air. My beautiful balloon. So, all I'm saying is, I feel like our soulmates have been found. I feel like spiritually they've never been lost. It just all seems to be coming together. You know that 5 of Cups is also coming over another 5 obstacles and challenges. But I feel like your back is to all that now. I feel like we moved beyond. There's our joy. There's our joy. There's our celebration. There's our reason to celebrate. Right over your major arcana, the Lovers. Right over the Lovers. Connected to the Death card. Interesting, because I feel like one of the things you're celebrating was the boldness to leave, to cut ties, whatever it is that you felt like you needed to do to get you from there to here. Don't forget to celebrate yourself. There's the joy. Oh my. The Lovers. Right over the 6 of Cups. And right next to the 6 of Cups. And the 2 of Wands. Stepping upon the path. Remember what I read? Like Uranus doesn't like the status quo. It was about experimenting, about taking chances, and that's exactly what I feel like you're doing. You know, I won't say that I'm amazed that the Lovers came out over the 6 of Cups, because I already felt that. But I love the confirmation of it for you. And the Hangman. You know, I feel like the more and more I start to see, like, when I'm refusing to close the door, like the potential of what my future could be, if I look at it in, through an optimistic lens and don't believe the bullshit, don't buy it, and know your worth. I feel like that's it. That's the lesson. And I feel like once you've learned that lesson, you've learned it for eternity. Like once you've gained these spiritual muscles, you don't lose them. You're only going to continue to grow and become wiser. But not only wiser, I mean, look at how just you raising your own vibration by saying no more, no more, no more opens the door to everything. Why? Because you have raised your own vibration. I don't think you meant to. I don't think that's why I did it. I feel like you're pushed to the edge. Because I feel that when you leave, you leave. The love is drained. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I can't take it on as like, well, there's a failure. There wasn't a failure. And look at what it's leading to. But look at you now compared to then. Now, the Empress, that's you, right? Loving, nurturing, powerful, strong, creative, you name it, the mother figure. And then the Emperor, same thing, both of them leaders. They do it differently, but they have the same goal. Same morals, same vibration. So I'm not surprised to see the connection and even how it's coming in. Like, I feel like it's being brought to you in the most beautiful of ways. It reminds me of my own love story with Sam. And it's in these quiet moments that life changes. So, Two of Wands to me is you saying yes. This is you stepping upon the path that, though it doesn't even matter, I feel is leading to true commitment. I can't help but think that this will be your person. And by the way, how you know is in the way that they honor you. And I don't mean like, pick up your clothes. I mean, honor you as a person, as a woman, as a man, as in the recognition of what you do. You know what I mean? It's not like negative. It's the opposite. But we're doing it for each other. It's a beautiful give and take. It's not issue free, but there's nothing that we cannot work through. Here, you had the opposite. You had someone unwilling, and we can't make them. Well, they don't know what they lost. That's their journey. It's a whole other reading. All right. We have the Nine of Swords. Interesting. We have the Knight of Wands. So the Nine of Swords is about unnecessary worry. And some of you, it may be what held you in place was worry. And again, you may have tied this person back to a soulmate and therefore thought, well, I can't leave, right? It's supposed to work. We're soulmates. But I feel like you would have to feel that I kind of feel like the life is drained out of you. Not just the love, but the joy. So I feel like, because I don't feel like the Nine of Swords and the Empress go together, so this feels like old energy. But it feels like what might have held me in place. then I'm also looking at the sword and I'm thinking, does this phone call take place before the actual movement? Does this reconnection? And I don't really mean physical. I don't think. I feel more like it's in the line of communication. Maybe for a few, it may be the push that you needed. Now, is it better to have cleared that energy first? Of course, because then you wouldn't have to deal with it. But now you are dealing with, now you have to deal with both. I'm not saying that you have to deal with the other because I feel like the other will be patient, whatever, whatever it takes. And when, it's like how Sam was with me. It took me 5 years, honestly, 5 years to move in with him. But it was what I needed at the time. Okay. The one thing that may throw you for a loop is I feel like with the Knight of Wands here, it's talking about potential chemistry. I'm thinking like Aries and how Aries can be as it relates to love, and it can be very action oriented. So this could be definitely someone who very quickly tells you the way they feel, may be very passionate, and it may throw you for a loop. But I feel like there's nothing wrong with saying, let's just slow down for a moment. You're not saying no. You're just saying, I have to slow down. And I feel like that's only really for those who are still dealing with this other energy. Because otherwise, I feel like you're just on board. And who was I with? I don't even remember that person's name. Sometimes a soulmate does come in to help heal us, as we do for them sometimes. Sometimes they're just for a moment, but sometimes they are for the rest of our lives. And I could see that where someone could help you, but I feel like it's more because they're able to give their emotions. You're able to feel them. All right. We have the Five of Pentacles, and then we have the Emperor again. It's like it's like it's saying you're leaving. Thought we had another king. That's so weird. I could have swore there was a king here. Oh, that's so weird. But anyways, I what I feel is this five of pentacles, I feel like it's you. And it's your change. Because it's mirroring the Nine of Wands, which is also you. And I feel like what you're doing is you're throwing down the gauntlet. And the oh my god, and the sirens just went off. And then look who shows up under the lovers. The Emperor. He's just moving a little closer to the Empress. Look what's connecting them now. The lovers. Can't believe the siren just went off. Hello, soulmates. Hello, soulmates. You don't need long to realize this energy. And even if I slow it down, I feel like it's impossible because it feels night and day. But it all started in your moments, the moments that you chose, right? When you found that boldness, when you made those realizations, when you walked away, when you celebrated you, and when you realized that someone wasn't honoring you or wasn't deserving of you, it wasn't the other way around. And maybe that's what you thought. Like there's something wrong with me. Oh, my dear, there's nothing wrong with you. Quite the opposite. And I'm going to take you on a journey and show you. And what a journey you're going on. And no wonder Uranus is already in Gemini. It has already begun. Hello, Two of Cups, mirroring the marriage card. Look at that, the Tower. It's so weird how you keep getting a little bit of fear here. The Tower could have been the breakup. That's what it is. Now I feel that. Then versus now. And that may be, it's so funny, but I thought we had firm foundation here. Wow. Like, why do I keep thinking there's cards here that aren't? Hmm. You know what I feel like it is very healing for you and probably for them is to speak about your experiences, let them out, and then let them go, let them be, and maybe even give them like the opportunity to speak their experience. What you might find is the similarities are very aligned. You'll definitely find that your goals are aligned. Again, how you go about them might be differently. You know, the Emperor is methodical, the Empress is more by the seat of her pants. And I feel like that's what someone admired about you. But listen, it doesn't mean the Empress doesn't know what she's doing. It's just like, and I get it because, like, I'll get an idea and it's like, oh, I got to do it now. What? Yeah, I got to do it now. So it's just like how I got to your reading. You know, like I skipped a whole set of people to do you and Sag's reading. It's just weird because I don't normally do that. Um, and it's nothing against them. It's just that it feels like you and your reading and Sag's reading both feel like they're calling you now, like you're being called now. But I just hope you see, I don't know how you can't see the beauty, uh, let's just say the potential. You know, I can't take your free will out of it. It is yours. Even your guides know that. You know, sometimes things are put right in front of people, but they don't see it. You know, and often that's why I feel like sometimes, just sometimes, you may need to watch your reading twice because you may hear it in one way and then you rewatch it and you hear it in a completely different way. You know, I leave that to you. I know they're long, but, and I find myself saying that a lot this month. But who knows? There must be a reason. All right. I am not going to mess with perfection. But what I am going to do is bring out the clarifying love situations. Like, I feel like you either get this or you don't. And if you don't, well, I hate to say this and I mean this with love, but you could be in denial. But then as I say that, you know that. Um, or you've already moved into it. And that is what the comment section is for. Like, especially for those who have moved beyond this, I feel like just like how I tell my personal stories, I only tell them when I think it's going to help, to let you know that I too am human. Um, but yeah, I feel like the comment section, like, I feel it's the healing section, to be honest. Number one, it allows you to get out what you're feeling. Number two, if you're on the other side of it, letting those know who are still in that, hey, the grass is greener on the other side. Whirlwind. Well, it doesn't, I don't know why I'm laughing. Whirlwind. Don't get caught up in the drama. Choose peace. Feels like another moment. Choose peace. Don't get caught up in the drama. Choose peace. Frost pass. A mismatch of intentions, clashing perspectives, a journey misled seeks alignment. Oh my gosh. I mean, mismatch of intentions, clashing perspectives, a journey misled seeks alignment. So the hangman is seeking. All right, I'm going to let those be. Wow. Let's bring out the romance angels. Pick that up. I feel like your messages are so clear. And I hope it's not just me feeling that. Like, I don't know how many times I've gotten goosebumps through your reading. And maybe because I do know the feeling. I know all of that. I've been here quite a few times. I am now here. And I didn't expect any of it. Knight of Cups, unexpected. In a quiet moment. This feels like it must be your divine timing. Like this is when you were meant um to make it forevermore. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. It's telling you you're being guided towards great love. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. It's like the hangman is seeking wisdom and the hangman is receiving it all over the place. Will the hangman absorb it? Playfulness. Well, that's what I feel they feel about you. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. You know what I think happens? I feel like there's some type of reconnection. I think it's coming through communication. I feel like this playfulness, it's like you feel like a kid again. Like, I really like it. And then you have joy with that. And even Mother Mary saying, if you feel passionate about it, flow towards it. A great love. I mean, I didn't need to see it written down to know what I'm feeling, but making the effort. So, in other words, it's completely up to you. You can turn a blind eye and be like, no way, Jose, right? You may be like, I'm not even going to take a chance. Another tower comes. And there is nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do. Let's just put it this way. I feel like, because it feels like the opening of a gate. So I feel like when the gate opens, what happens, happens. And then you'll make decisions. I have a feeling they'll be different than what you state they'll be. But that is up to you. Like, there's no way I'm going to try to talk anyone into something. That's not my purpose. But wow, do I love this reading. I mean, the beginning of it was difficult. I'm not going to lie, because I do feel it. I feel it all, the good and the bad. I feel the joy though. That's the main thing. So I think I'm going to let this be. I love you. I thank you. Please let me know what you thought. Let me know, if you see yourself in here and where you're at. I don't know why I'm asking for, like, I like your feedback. I want to hear. Well, I want others to know that it does happen. And a lot of times it happens in unexpected ways. And it's interesting because I had just left a person I had been with for 25 years. And I had only been single for 2 weeks when Sam called me. Now, being a Virgo, if he would have called me when I was still with the other person, even though the love had drained, we remained friends. I shouldn't say love drained. I still love him as a friend. But romantic love had drained. I still would have been loyal. But because I was now single, I was free. And the romance began and it has not ended. We now live together. So I think that's partly what I mean in the comment section. Like, don't think it can't happen. It is unexpected. I feel like it's just about, let's just go back to Mother Mary, right? Joy. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. I love you guys. I thank you. I feel like you are the powerhouse this month. I feel like you are the powerhouse for the next 8 years, to be honest. I love you. Thank you. See you next time at our table. Bye bye.